now maybe it's time for our distinguished speakers to enter into our Q&A panel. Please allow me to invite all the panelists to turn on the camera first, if the condition permits. If we could see your face, it will definitely make our discussion more convenient. In addition, all the participants could also email your questions to the secretariat at hcch.net. Our colleagues will also definitely give you a satisfactory answer. Okay. It seems that there are some questions right now, so let me ask one. The first question is to the Mr. Senen Mangalile. Okay. The question is that what was the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on your experience with the EAPP?
Thank you very much for that question. I would probably be clearer if I would use an analogy. So we used to have a big van, passenger van, a minibus, and it can seat, let's say, 16 passengers. Because of the pandemic, our Department of Health and our government required that people sit a few meters, a couple of meters apart, and therefore the capacity of our minibus was reduced to the capacity of a sedan, a car. So we just probably maximum of 5 passengers. That's what happened to our offices, where we could pre-pandemic accommodate 300. We could now only accommodate half of that because we have to ask them to seat a meter apart from each other to observe social distancing. So immediately the number of appointments that we could service in a day was reduced. Secondly, we had to rotate our staff, because if 1 or 2 of them become infected, then the rest of the staff working with them would be considered close contact, and therefore the office will have to close. And that's difficult, because that means we will have to reschedule all those who have confirmed appointments for the day. So we reduce our staff to half. Half of them are on duty for 2 weeks now, 14 days. And then at the end of the 14-day period, they work from home. And the second half of our staff take over. And they change places every 14 days. So that also impacted on the number of apostille documents that we can issue, because with half the staff, we can issue less than our pre-pandemic levels. And so I think this drives home the point that if we are able to launch a fully electronic apostille system, these problems will not be encountered, because the applications will all be done online, and therefore venue capacity and availability of the staff to be physically present at our offices will not be a factor anymore. And so I think that the pandemic merely highlighted the fact, or merely forced a lot of governments to actually begin transitioning into a fully apostille system. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. It seems that we received more questions. So the next question is for the Dr. Rajesh Kumar Mishra. what are the challenges you face in implementing changes to e-apostille?
Thank you. As I tried to explain in my presentation, this document issuing authorities, whether it is educational or personal or commercial, these are geographically distributed in such huge. In the absence of digitalization of these documents or the digitalization of processes, yeah, but what's happening is basically these the travel by the citizen is very high because they need to contact at least 3 to 4 points, different points, which includes your document issuing authorities, the general administration department of the province, and then Ministry of External Affairs, and then for getting the documents back. Similarly, the people, the citizen who were at some point in time in a foreign land, it was very, very difficult for them to get this service because you know that sometimes they maybe need to travel even to the country for carrying out these activities, or at least their kids need to carry out this activity. So what we have done is basically we have first approached our document issuing authorities at various levels to provide the access to their repositories of the digital documents. They had, of course, these documents are owned by those digital document issuing authorities, the provinces. So they had their own apprehensions on making it available to the other agencies, which include for even for the access purposes. So we need to organize sort of awareness programs to them. We need to give a confidence to them that about the sensitivity and this thing of the documents, how the security of the documents can be maintained while accessing these documents. We need to convince them that the documents will be verified, will be seen by the designated authorities only. Similarly, when we talk about the commercial documents, there are many chamber of commerces. This is over 100 chamber of commerce which are there into the country, and they have got the different level of interaction with the business community in the country, and helping them in attestations was a big deal for them. So we need to help these chamber of commerces, which includes your chambers like CII and all, to strengthen them, to develop the platform, to develop the software systems which helps them in providing this digital service. Similarly, regarding e-payment, that was another important thing that we need to assist our citizens. We need to help them in providing various gateways which shall be integrated and which were integrated to the e-Senen system. So very beginning from the field, when we talk about the field, means these document issuing authorities which are at district level and sometimes below district, that is some district level. So for example, when we talk about personal document like birth certificate, by the documents which are related to the properties, all these are executed at the sub-district level. So if you see the layering, there is central, then you've got the province, then you have got the district authorities, and then we have got the sub-district authorities. So penetrating up to that level, which are of course at the different level of digitalization, which have got different level of understanding of IT, which have got different level of outreach. So that was basically taking them on board. It was practically in the country of the size like India, it is maybe a huge challenge of taking them on board at the same point in time. So we divided into the to the different levels, and accordingly these were taken on board onto the e-Sanat system, which is basically based for e-app. The systems which are in place, which include your electronic payments, which include your online services, which include your contactless services, which help even our citizens who are sitting in the foreign land, in the foreign country. They need not to approach us for that, and they can get the entire service online. And only the last leg, which is issuance of e-apostille, that is yet to be carried out, and which is basically sort of plug into the final issuance system, which is from this one. Similarly, when we are talking about the issuing apostille issuing authorities or e-apostille issuing authorities, these are also again significantly high, close to 50 in number. There are 36 passport offices across India. Then we have got Ministry of External Affairs. Then we have got few branch secretaries across the country. So capacity building of those issuing authorities and rolling it out to the ground, so ultimately the citizen gets the advantage of, gets the benefit of this system. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the participant, which goes, is it now the e-apostilles full applicated in your countries? What's your main suggestions to the applicated it from zero? Thank you. The question is from Pablo Inekin from the Ministry of FA of Costa Rica. So it looks like the question is for all the distinguished speakers. So Mr. Senen?
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Well, the way I understand the question is, if you see that the e-apostille is the way to go, what can you say to those who are still about to start from zero? I would first highlight the fact that the Philippines has not gone to the full apostille system yet. So we are halfway, probably between 0 to 100, if that's the end line. So we are probably at 45 to 50. The important thing to remember is that an e-apostille should be a whole of government project, meaning to say, in the case of the Philippines, although the Department of Foreign Affairs is the national authority when it comes to apostille issuances, it cannot just be the Department of Foreign Affairs. We have to ensure that the rest of the government, from city governments, city councils, to ministries, are in on the e-apostille project, because they are the ones who are issuing the basic document. So for example, if the document comes from a university, then it has to be authenticated by the Commission for Higher Education, a government department in the Philippines, and then it comes to us for apostille. So it's not just the Department of Foreign Affairs, but the Commission on Higher Education should be doing electronic authentication as well, and the university has to be issuing electronic transcript of records or diplomas, for instance. Until that level is reached, we will not consider it as a fully electronic system, because there will still be paper trail. Having said that, however, we are happy to get the low-hanging fruits and mark our progress by milestones. We do not expect, small cities away from the capital to be able to come up with an e-issuance module at their end. But we will take whatever comes in order to build up our system with other government agencies that are already in their digitization processes, with other private sector partners that are already assisting in the e-government development that we are doing. So we will take small successes on our journey to a fully e-apostille system. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's check the new questions. We have so many questions. So I don't know if Miss Adile, could you just
Yes.
okay. There is a question for you. Would you like to explore the outsourcing to make solutions more effective? If yes, how can a service provider reach HCCH and other countries' representatives?
I'm sorry, which kind of outsourcing do they asking about? Outsourcing in what?
The question is, would you like to explore outsourcing to make solutions more effective?
Yes, we have an authority to make solutions more effective. Especially, we have an authority to implement this kind of reforms in our country. And the Cabinet of Ministers can accept such kind of decisions. And we are trying now to do it. We also made a project and also submitted it to the Cabinet of Ministers. And now we are waiting for adopting this project. And after implementing, we also will give a note to all party countries that we implemented the Apostille system.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. And there is a technical question. That's, how are the e-apostilles issued for hard copy public documents? Maybe that question should be answered by the Dr. Rajesh Kumar. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. See, e-apostille, unlike paper apostille, e-apostille is not to be strict on any physical paper or any physical document. So it's basically there is a metadata which has a reference to the original document is issued in the electronic form and which has got a standard format having some 10 fields, which was part of my presentation also last one slide where we talked about there is a specimen format of apostille. So what happens is basically in case of, just to reiterate it, in case of paper apostille, this is stamped, physically signed, that is ink signed and stick to the paper document, whereas e-apostille has a reference to the original document which is sent in an electronic format with the electronic stamp or whatever with the digital signature and all to the recipient, and which can be further forwarded to the verification authorities. In lieu, what can happen is basically if they want to see the document, they can use the process of verifying the e-register and all. So there is no question of any sticking of the e-apostille on the normal paper or the paper document. Hope it clarifies your question.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I also received questions in Spanish. Yeah. I just try to translate it. Okay, that it goes like that. Would the cost benefit in favor of user be higher or lower with the insurance of the e-apostille? So let me ask Mr. Seren.
I think the benefit, there is a greater benefit if an applicant gets an e-apostille instead of an actual document, because that is more portable. That could be easily carried around using a smartphone. There's no danger of it getting crumpled or getting wet under a shower of rain. All of those things. And I think in the context of the pandemic, and as we emerge out of it, and we are now more conscious on the processes, and try to eliminate opportunity for a virus, any virus for that matter, to be spread from hand to hand. I think it all points out to a great benefit of using e-apostille. And so, I mean, it informs our planning processes as we try to launch our e-apostille system. It has shown to us a lot of benefit, for instance, in by just putting an online application system. We were able to manage the crowd that usually comes to our office to access our services. We were able to give them specific time frames on when to appear at our office, just by using an online appointment system. So you get incremental benefits as you start digitizing certain processes. And also to link to that earlier question about outsourcing, yes, I think governments should look at the possibility of synergy with the private corporations, private entities, tech partners that could make their transition to e-apostille faster. But I would caution to say that we should only be outsourcing certain processes. At the end of the day, it is the government that issues the e-apostille. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. So there's another question for Mr. Rajesh. So how are the outsourced agencies involved in the apostille process in India? And who are these outsourcing agencies?
Yes, so I will take this question. The outsourcing agencies in India are primarily for increasing the outreach of the ministry to the grassroots. So it's a basic concept. As far as the strategic control of the system, as far as the strategic control of the processes is concerned, it is very well maintained with the state only. And another thing is that when we're talking about I talked about three different models, three different stages which are being exercised by government of India. What is happening is, in case of model 1, where that entire documents they are available in the digital form, in which are digitally signed. So this is basically absolutely no contact service, and we call it as the so-called last paper service. Whereas to cater to other citizens whose document issuing authorities are not having that entire document in digital form, or who are still maintaining the documents in the legacy form, for them we extend help through outsourcing agencies. So outsourcing agencies are typically for helping the citizen, number one. Number two is for receiving the paper documents as far as their documents are not available in the electronic form in the repositories. So it is partially for few of the certain percentage of the citizen they are being used, certain for not. But primarily this is the document exchange agencies, you can say, who receive the document, who are the citizen, and then ultimately deliver the documents after apostilling process by the state.
Okay. All right, we still have so many questions to solve. Let me check. The new question is that while digital apostille initiatives are made, sharing them is still manual. Make it a physical exercise for receiving foreign government to cross-examine authenticity. A blockchain enables solution connecting issuer, processor, and receiver could make more effective. So this question is about the suggestions about the blockchain and the apostille initiatives. So maybe Mr. Senen or.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Gao, and thank you for that suggestion coming from the participants. Yes, we see the point. It is still actual printed certificates that the applicant carries with them, and that physical paper certificate is what is presented abroad and what is being verified by the person that is ultimately going to accept it outside the country. Indeed, there is much to say about using the latest technology to enable a purely electronic system. But as I said, as far as the Philippines is concerned, we are still transitioning towards that fully electronic system. Do we still have to manually receive the documents from the applicants, even though they applied electronically for an appointment, and eventually they will be able to send us copies of their documents electronically as well. But we still are required by our regulations to accept the actual documents signed by an official somewhere, somewhere down the line, until we are able to build an infrastructure that allows these issuing offices to issue an electronic certificate that we can validate, that we can verify, that we can authenticate. We will still be reliant on those papers. And until we are able to build a system that allows a foreign end user to accept an electronic certificate coming from us, we are still, on that journey towards that end goal. But definitely, blockchain and other security providing mechanisms that could be employed would be most welcome for the Philippines and for many countries that are thinking about e-apostille. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, here are more questions about in Spanish. I think this really puts a test on my Spanish. Okay. So the next questions is I just try to translate it. Could the e-apostilles be made from another state, or did they be in the original state of the documents? So it's about the operating of the e-apostilles? Maybe for the Miss Adele? Hello? Are you still here?
I'm sorry, yes, I'm here.
Yeah, thank you. So the question is about the e-apostilles. Could the e-apostilles made from another state, or did they have been the original state of the documents? I mean, the participant may want to know the operating of the e-app or the e-government.
I'm sorry, could you explain one time again? Which one question?
Oh, okay. Maybe I will change explanation. So what is your experience with the e-app or the e-government? So
in our country, we experienced it in APP. It's like many countries send to us their notifications about implementing the app in their countries, and we also accept the documents with electronic apostilles now. All our governmental bodies must accept them. And about e-government, we're trying to make public services more free for the citizens. In this place, we are trying to make identification issues more commonly with mobile phones, maybe with their IDs. We are trying to link them. Nowadays, it's very difficult to use electronic services by our e-government because it should be done by electronic signature. And now we are trying to abolish this requirement and made it more simply for the citizens.
okay, thank you. Many thanks. And the next question is also written in Spanish. The example shown in the electronic apostille of the Philippines, do you only issue the apostille, or is also combined by the electronic documents what was present for the apostille?
Muchas gracias. Perdóneme, no hablo español. Sorry, my Spanish is not that good, so not like Mr. Gao, who is very fluent. The Philippines only issues paper certificates at the moment. That paper certificate, however, can be verified online. So that's the E component of the current issuance that we have. That paper document has a code. You just go to the website and track and verify that the paper that you're holding by entering the key code on that website, and you will get a digital image of what we actually issued. So you can compare the two, and if you find any discrepancy, then that has been tampered with. So there has to be every paper that we issued has a digital twin, and they have to be exactly identical. Otherwise, there would have been a problem with the apostille that you're holding. So that's where we are at the moment. We issue only paper apostille, but it has a digital twin that you will see if you verify it. Where we want to go essentially is in the future, that we are able to issue the document and only issue the paper document upon request. So it is up to the applicant if they're happy with just the version, or if they want the version plus a paper document. So that's where we are headed at the moment. We are working towards the document only, and the paper document optional. Right now, it is only paper document with a digital twin in our e-register. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And all right, I think maybe it's the last question, and it's also in Spanish. The question is for Dr. Rajesh. So that's what has been the impact on the cost benefit of the citizens, or how have the citizens' response to the surveys going online, and for the cost and for the benefit, the response?
See, because when we are talking about EF, the main consideration will be how secured and how effective our documents are existing in the existing repositories. So that is, to me, that will be the main cost, where the base document, the original document, how reliable it is and how authenticated it is as per your IT Act of the country. Assuming that this is when we are talking about availability of the documents in a digital format, in a digitally signed format, assuming these are in place, then in the repository, then we will say the operationalization, development and operationalization of the system, that will so we're talking about the monetary cost of per e-apostille. So then it is going to be when we're talking about in Indian rupees, it will be something less than INR 5. So when in a few cents if we talk about, because you know that there is no consumable as it is when we are talking about e-apostille, because this is electronically generated, electronically signed. So this is only a digital signature we are giving. So any country, to me, what I will say, that any country who is already issuing the paper-based apostille will be able to issue the e-apostille on a similar cost. I mean, though there's no significant delta cost which shall be charged, because what we are doing is eventually you are saving onto the paper apostille, which is again a secured stationery and all. So this is our experience. When we have bugged out the system, we found that the cost, when we completely eradicate the paper apostille, still we are going in parallel, we are using the paper apostille as well as EF. That time, for some time, that additional cost will be there. But otherwise, once we discontinue the paper apostille, we are saving on secured paper, and then we are spending a little bit on that. So cost remains almost the same.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, it's regretful that we only have limited time and may not be able to answer all the questions raised by our audience. Yeah, there's so many questions. Maybe you could just email your questions to our mailbox, or to the speaker's mailbox. Or our colleagues and our speakers will definitely give you a satisfactory answer. So I have the last questions for all the panelists. Do you have any plan for the final remarks, or the closing remarks, closing speech? Or can you just raise your hand? Or all right. So thank you so much. As all the experts from around the globe sharing their experience with the development and implementation of the EAPP its role in the context of the e-government initiatives and the future of the EAPP, we are pleased to announce that the successful conclusion of the Section 1. And thank you so much for your continued effort, continued support to the HCCH and its Apostille Convention. Your attendance is vital to the success of this forum and make our Section 1 brilliant.